Hey, it's Jordan with Status Coup. Elon Musk has officially taken over Twitter and cleaned house while, quote, freeing the bird. That was Elon's opening salvo as he officially took over Twitter. The bird is freed, he says. This morning, he says, let the good times roll. Those good times do not include the now former CEO of Twitter and several other executives he fired. He acquired Twitter for $44 billion and then laid off several top executives. As one of his first moves, he fired several longtime top Twitter executives, according to three people familiar with the matter. Chief Executive Paraj Agrawal, Chief Financial Officer Ned Segal, and Vijaya Gade, if I'm pronouncing that right, Head of Legal Policy, Trust, and Safety, were let go. According to the sources, Sean Edgett, the company's general counsel, was also pushed out. The top executives were hastily escorted out of the company's San Francisco headquarters, so he wasn't fooling around. Vijay was the executive pretty involved with banning Trump from Twitter. Musk's moves late Thursday signal his intentions to firmly put his stamp on Twitter. He's publicly criticized the company's outgoing management over product decisions and content moderation, as well as saying he would restore former President Trump's account. Still, quote, Twitter obviously cannot become a free-for-all hellscape where anything can be said with no consequences, Musk tweeted on Thursday in a post offering assurances to advertisers. A lot of advertisers are concerned. This is from a pretty in-the-know Twitter account who posts a lot about Twitter activity. If Elon Musk reinstates former President Trump's Twitter account after completing a takeover of the company, several companies plan to suspend ad spending on the platform, a top ad buyer told the Wall Street Journal. Specifically on the CEO that he got rid of, text messages had leaked a couple weeks ago, basically that as soon as Musk and Agrawal started talking, when it became clear Musk was going to take over Twitter, their relationship quickly soured. Both agreed on the technical details of Twitter and how both of them should work together on the code base. Interestingly, Musk told Agrawal that he hated doing management work. Quote, I kind of don't think anyone should be the boss of anyone. But I love helping solve technical product design problems, Musk wrote to Agrawal. It's interesting that he doesn't think anyone should be the boss of anyone, since as the head of Tesla, he and his executives have done fierce union busting over their employers and tried to stop their employees from gaining any leverage or power at the workplace, or dare I say, unionize. Tesla, like Amazon, is one of the biggest union busters in America. So interesting that Musk says he doesn't think anyone should be the boss of anyone. However, things started going sideways between the two after Musk tweeted, quote, most of these top accounts tweet rarely and post very little content. Is Twitter dying? And he posted Obama, Bieber, Katy Perry, Rihanna, Taylor Swift, Lady Gaga, Elon Musk. And I guess Agrawal did not like that. Agrawal was clearly not happy with Musk's tweet and texted him saying he would like to give him a perspective on the level of internal distraction at Twitter and how it was hurting their ability to work. Making his displeasure felt, he wrote, quote, you are free to tweet, is Twitter dying or anything else about Twitter, but it's my responsibility to tell you that it's not making Twitter better in the current context, to which Elon put a question mark and responded with sarcasm, what did you get done this week? And topped it up by saying he considered this a waste of time and he would rather take the company private. Not surprisingly, Donald Trump is excited about Elon taking over Twitter. On his Truth Social, he responded lying about Truth Social's numbers while seeming gleeful that Elon has taken over Twitter. Trump truthed, I guess. Truth Social has become somewhat of a phenomenon. Last week, it had bigger numbers than all other platforms, including TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, and the rest. That's obviously a lie. It also looks and works better to my eye. I am very happy that Twitter is now in sane hands and will no longer be run by radical left lunatics and maniacs that truly hate our country. Twitter must now work hard to rid itself of all the bots and fake accounts that have hurt it so badly. It will be much smaller, but better. I love truth. Oh, he loves truth. That was Trump. Marjorie Taylor Greene, freedom of speech, she responded. So, listen, conservatives, right-wingers are gleeful. Free speech absolutists are very happy. A lot of liberals and kind of wine moms and MSNBCers are wringing their hands and making contingency plans for if they have to leave Twitter under the reign of Elon Musk. I think that actually believing that a greedy, immoral union buster, what does he have, like 10 different kids by many different women, who has been a major union buster, who says he's a free speech absolutist, but is notoriously thin-skinned, has gone after employees for just tweeting about unions or trying to unionize with Twitter, for which he was reprimanded for doing so, for union busting. He has gone after reporters who report on him critically. So I find it kind of a joke that this man is somehow a champion for freedom of speech. But let's look at the freedom of speech landscape, what might be good about this, what might be bad about this, and also the shadow censorship that people don't like to talk about. So let's start with what might be good about this. I do think Twitter has gone too over the top. You get these trigger warnings or like disclaimers. This tweet might be offensive to you before you click on it, or this tweet might be, offend you or be sensitive or whatever. Like, listen, most people on Twitter are not third graders. We don't need, to be babied about content. We could judge ourselves if content is too sensitive or offensive for us. So I think there's certain certain things Twitter has done that is too far and is not necessary. I think in some cases, even if people post things that are vile, offensive, misinformation, I mean, this is America. It's the internet. It's a cesspool. I think, I don't want Silicon Valley determining what is and is not misinformation, within reason, right? If there's a deadly plague going on that's killing everybody, yeah, that's different. But I don't think, it clearly has become a slippery slope where they're going after people for pushing misinformation on the elections or on COVID or this and that. And under that guise, then they're going after anti-war people who tweet, or anti-capitalism people who tweet, or name your pick, Black Lives Matter, et cetera, et cetera. To go after the people who are pushing this information, they're then going after actual leftists. So I think Twitter should be a public utility and regulated as such. I don't think it should. I don't want Elon Musk or the previous people at Twitter deciding what is and is not misinformation, even though there is a ton of misinformation that gets pushed on Twitter and Facebook and elsewhere. But within a free society, I don't really know what you could do about that. The devil's advocate would say, well, Jordan, it's a private company and they can do as they please. Yeah, they can do as they please. That's the problem. And there is no rhyme or reason. It's just whatever is in the zeitgeist at that moment. So if at that moment, if they deem something as misinformation because the corporate media has decided it's misinformation, the entire ether has decided it's misinformation, the Democratic Party or the Republican Party decide it's misinformation, and 6 months later or a year later, it's learned, oh no, this was actually true. Well, that just shows we can't have Twitter deciding what is and is not misinformation. So to a certain degree, if those types of excessive moderation, excessive censorship are pulled back, I think that's a good thing. What I think is a bad thing is right now we are in a moment of the normalization and the escalation of violent political rhetoric. We are in an escalation of violent conspiracy theories. So Donald Trump on his Truth Social platform posted in all caps, Mitch McConnell has a death wish, all caps. Clearly, he knew what he was doing, and it was to incite possible violence against Mitch McConnell. I can't stand Mitch McConnell, but I want to beat him with ideas, not violence. And I hope you agree. We shouldn't be advocating violence. When you have Marjorie Taylor Greene going around and giving a pep rally at Trump rallies saying the killings have begun, Democrats are coming after you, they're going to kill you. Yeah, that's problematic. I don't think that stuff should freely float on Twitter, Truth Social. I think that stuff should be removed, because if you let that stuff roam free, that stuff is what actually gives the green light to unstable people, some crazy, some not crazy, to actually commit violence. There are white militias at Trump rallies. There are white militiamen and women who were at January 6th. There was somebody who attacked and shot at the FBI office in Cincinnati. There has been an increase in death threats happening at local city halls, state governments. Some might say, well, Jordan, I hate politicians. Yeah, I hate politicians too. They're all corrupt. But we can't get into this mode where we're okay with violence. And I am concerned that when you see, Republicans now are, freely instigating and urging voters to serve as poll observers and poll watchers. You have people in masks, wearing masks and army garb outside mail-in drop-offs in Arizona, hovering over drop-off locations in Arizona in masks and army garb to intimidate people. This is a dangerous, dangerous powder keg. I have said I'm not fear-mongering, but I do fear that there might be violence come the midterm elections. We already know, and we talked about it yesterday. I did a video where Trump and Republicans are already plotting how they could overturn the results in states like Pennsylvania. That creates conditions for potential violence. I could tell you, having covered the aftermath of the election in Philadelphia a couple days after the presidential election in 2020, there were bomb threats that were made to the Philadelphia Convention Center. A family that drove up from Virginia was arrested. They were found to have a plethora of weapons in their car, and with an intent to shoot up the Philadelphia Convention Center where ballots were being counted. And Trump was putting out there that pro-Trump ballots are being illegally destroyed. So why I think Elon Musk taking over Twitter could be a dangerous thing is, I think from everything he said, I think he's going to allow this kind of content. I think he's going to allow the Marjorie Taylor Greenes of the world saying the killings have begun. I don't see him moderating or removing content that not subtly, but pretty directly is stoking violence, because he's going to say free speech. Well, I think, I'm for free speech, but if we're already a powder keg and he's going to allow a cesspool where Republicans who just don't give a shit and are fine putting out death signals and signals for violence on Twitter, I'm not okay with that. I'm not okay with that. And I fear that is going to happen. And the last thing is there's shadow censorship on all these platforms. Twitter, this platform owned by Google, their algorithms prop up usually mainstream outlets on YouTube. They have said so, that they prop up authoritative news like Fox News and CNN, and they favor them in their algorithms. So they're pumping people to your feed with CNN, Washington Post, CNBC, Bloomberg, all these national corporate outlets that 5 years ago were getting a couple thousand views. Now they're getting hundreds of thousands of views because people are getting peppered with them in their YouTube feeds. On Twitter, it's also shadow censorship. They prop up in your feed through the algorithm, more mainstream journalists, corporate journalists, and lower and bury independent journalists. Do I think that's going to get better under Elon Musk? No. Do I think in terms of movements, let's say if there is a God, that we see some type of general strike in this country? Do I think the algorithm on Twitter owned by Elon Musk is going to be a free and fair algorithm? He said it will be open source, where anything could rise or fall organically based on the amount of tweets and interest. Yeah, no, I don't. I have a hard time believing that a general strike or anything progressive for that matter will be trending number one on Twitter under Elon Musk. Hope I'm wrong. But I don't see that. So I think the actual shadow censorship and the algorithmic activity under Elon Musk is just as important to watch as the straight up censorship, whether he's going to lift bans. There's reports that he's going to remove lifetime bans. I think it's all but certain Trump will be brought back, like soon. Yeah, so we'll see. Obviously, we'll monitor the news and see how Twitter changes or doesn't change under Elon Musk.